good people? It's Elena of Financialdemics, where I give you the tips and tools to manage your money, increase your savings and your income, and decrease your debt. And today we are talking about the difference between a 401k and an IRA. 401k, 403b, IRA, all of these different acronyms get people very confused. And a lot of times I hear people referencing their retirement account at work as an IRA. So I definitely wanted to come and talk about the differences so you would know and it can benefit you in the long run when it comes to your finances. With the 401k and a 403b, they are basically benefits that are provided by your employer, so a retirement plan. And truthfully, the main difference between the two are the type of employer. 401ks are usually offered by corporations, whereas 403bs are typically offered by nonprofits, government, so local government, not federal government, and then like churches, school systems like colleges and universities, or even your local county school system. But after all of that, everything is exactly the same. With 401ks and 403bs, you have limited investment options. And that is because your employer will pick a plan that is offered by the investment company, and that plan will have certain funds available to you. Now, one good thing about the 401k and the 403b is that your contribution limit at the time of this video, so this is 2020, is $19,500 for the year. And if you're over the age of 50, then you're actually able to contribute $26,000 for the year. Your contributions to your 401k and your 403b are actually contributed pre-tax, so they come out of your check before your employer takes out any taxes, and you're able to get a tax deduction for your contributions. And that tax deduction is dollar for dollar. So that means if you make $50,000 a year and you contribute $10,000 to your 401k or your 403b, then your taxable income is only $40,000 for the year. And I'm not including any other deductions. This is just looking at how your 401k will affect your taxable income, which reduces your tax liability for the year. Also, your employer may offer you a match on your contributions. And a match normally works like if you contribute 3% to your 401k or your 403b, then your employer will also contribute 3%. So it's really a good idea to definitely get that free money, but it's also a good idea just because you have so much more that you can contribute to this plan and really set yourself up for retirement. Now, some plans do allow for you to take a loan, but that's not every plan. It really depends on the options that the employer allows you to have. So don't think just because you're able to take a loan out of your 401k or 403b that your homegirl is able to take a loan out of theirs. That's not exactly how it works. But if you have questions, you definitely should speak to the licensed representatives at the company where your plan is held, and they can give you an idea of all of the ins and outs of your particular retirement plan. And the last thing about the 401k and 403b that is very important to know is that with most companies, you are not allowed to take withdrawals from the plan until you actually separate from service or are over the age of 59 and a half. If you take out a withdrawal before you are 59 and a half, regardless if you have left the company or not, you may be subject to a 10% penalty on your taxes. And there are some exceptions to that penalty, but I'm not going to go into them here. Okay, so let's talk about an IRA. An IRA is an individual retirement account. So you are able yourself to go to an investment company and contribute to an IRA. So this is not a part of your employer sponsored plan at your job. This is completely separate. And one note I want to make, in order to contribute to an IRA, you must have earned income. You cannot contribute to an IRA if you do not have any type of earned income. Now, if you are married and your spouse works, then you're able to contribute to an IRA that way. Your spouse can make contributions for you. So there are 4 types of IRAs. There is a traditional, a Roth, a SEP, and a simple. The SEP and the simple IRAs are actually for self-employed individuals or freelancers. So we're not going to talk about them since we're comparing this to a 401k and a 403b. So we're only going to focus on the traditional and the Roth for comparison purposes. So one thing that most people love about the traditional and the Roth IRA is that since your employer is not involved and you're going directly to the investment company yourself, you actually have so many more investment options. The only way you can typically get that many investment options in your employer plan is if your employer plan is an investment company themselves. But most of the time when you are just working for a company, you're not going to get the level of investment options that you will get in an IRA. Now, the contribution limits for IRAs are lower than 401k and 403bs. The contribution limit for 2020 is $6,000, and if you are over the age of 50, then it is $7,000. And with IRAs, you are able to contribute until April 15th of the next tax year. So in this case, you're able to contribute to an IRA for 2020 up until April 15th of 2021. So the contributions made to a traditional IRA are done pre-tax, so they may be tax deductible. And your earnings will grow tax deferred, which means you'll pay taxes later when you actually withdraw the funds. Taxes made to a Roth IRA are actually considered after tax, so your earnings actually grow tax-free, so you won't pay any taxes once you withdraw funds from that account. Now, if you withdraw money before the age of 59 and a half from both, then you may be subject to a 10% penalty. Again, there are exceptions to the rule, and I would just check with whichever investment company you have your account with. They can give you more information on what exceptions apply. So the main differences between a 401k, 403b, and an IRA is this. A 401k and a 403b are employer-sponsored plans. So those are plans that you get if you work for an employer who actually offers that benefit. And they actually allow for you to contribute more to your retirement, and that amount is completely tax deductible dollar for dollar. You may have limited fund choices on that particular plan, and you actually have the opportunity to take a loan if that is available under your plan. With an IRA, you do have a lower contribution amount, and that contribution amount is not individualized by the type. That is the combined contribution amount for traditional and a Roth IRA together. If you contribute to a traditional IRA, you may be able to get a tax deduction, but you'll pay taxes later when you withdraw the money. If you contribute to a Roth, you won't receive a tax deduction, but your earnings are able to grow tax-free. So when you do withdraw the money in retirement, you will not have to pay any taxes on those earnings. You do not have any loan options in an IRA at all, but you do have more investment options. So if you are employed, you actually have the opportunity to contribute to a 401k or 403b and a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. So you don't have to pick which one you want to contribute to. And I also say, before you decide how you want to contribute, or if you just want to contribute the match and then contribute to a Roth IRA, I think you should really take into account tax liability, but also when you actually want to retire, how much money you actually feel like you're going to need in retirement. And a licensed representative at the company that you have your investment accounts can help you with going through these things, because I see a lot of advice out there talking about to just contribute the match and then contribute to a Roth IRA, which is something you can do, but you're still able to contribute more to an employer sponsored plan, which may get you closer to your retirement goals and may be able to help you out tax planning wise. So there's a few things you should take into consideration. So let me know below. I know we're all young and sometimes we don't think about retirement, but I want you to think about possibly retiring early. Are you planning on retiring early? If so, at what age? If this video was helpful for you, please hit that like button. That helps get the video out to more people. And if you have not subscribed already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and join us. I'm always dropping education about the foundations of personal finance, and I'll see you next week with an all new video.